Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing today? We are now live for our class. I just want to make sure that you guys can see me, can hear me. How is everybody doing? Very good. I see Kalipan, I see Luan, I see Stacy, I see Namkosi. Very good. Very, very good. Tell me, how are you guys doing today? How on this very nice morning? How is everybody? We're just gonna we're gonna wait for a few people to make sure that everybody is participating, that everybody is connected. So we're just gonna give it a few minutes, all right? But it's great to see everybody, and I just want to wait until everybody arrives and everybody is connected. And in the meantime, tell me, you guys, how are you doing? By the way, Happy New Year. I know that it's not the first day of the year. We're already on our first week, but I hadn't seen you guys, and I'm really happy to see you guys again for this year. Happy 2023. I really, really hope that everybody is doing well, that everybody is having fun, that everybody had a good Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I'm really, really, really glad that you're here, and I hope you enjoyed the celebrations. So tell me, how was your New Year? Like I said, we're just going to wait a few minutes until everybody is connected, right? To make sure that everybody is here, that everybody is has joined, and in a moment we're gonna start the class. Remember, guys, our class is conditional clauses. By the way, I just want to make sure, can everybody see this? Is it the right way? Because remember that sometimes YouTube changes the orientation on us. So is this correct or is it flipped? Tell me, guys. I just want to make sure is it correct? It's wrong. Okay, thank you. It's flipped. Let me just correct that. You should see it correct now, right? It's flipped. Now it's good. All right, now it's good. Good. All right. Yes, I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I don't know why YouTube changes the orientation of videos, and it's kind of annoying, but I'm really happy. Hey, guys, can you hear me? Is there something? I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. I'm going to connect the camera soon. There seems to be a problem with YouTube, actually. It's not our connection, it's YouTube. All right, give us a second. We're fixing it. I'm really sorry, guys. There seems to be, like I said, a problem with YouTube. It wasn't us. So give us a second, okay? All right. Okay. Now you should be seeing a blank camera screen because I want to make sure that there is a camera being detected. And now you should see my face, right? Okay. Yeah, this is very strange. We're really sorry, guys. We had never seen it we had never had this problem before. It is a problem with YouTube, and we're glad we fixed it. We're really sorry for the delay. There is something happening that's very strange and it's very annoying. So we're sorry for the interruption, but now we can see each other and now we're going to start, okay? We're just going to go ahead. We're going to start. The we're going to start the class, all right? So I don't know what happened. I think it's some YouTube problem. But again, you guys, we're so happy that you guys were able to join. So tell me, you guys, where are you from? Let's start telling where you're from, and we're gonna start the class. All right? Give us a second while everything loads, but very, very, very good. So I see Marcilio from Brazil. Ibtihal. I see Kalipan, of course, from Sri Lanka. Yes, I do know Kalipan. I see Farid. I see Luan from Brazil also. Shirisha from India. Bilal from Pakistan. Bit from Japan. Anna Perastru. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From Italy. And Ibtihal Ishak, great. Namkosi from South Africa. Debo from Cameroon. Excellent. Excellent to see everybody. So awesome, you guys. There's a little bit of a delay, like we were saying, because of the YouTube problem. But it's awesome that you guys are joining us from all over the world. We're really, really happy to see all of you guys. All right. So perfect. It's great to see everybody here. Now, let's go ahead and begin our class. All right, let's begin our class. So, as I was saying, our class is about conditional clauses. Does anybody know what conditional clauses are? Because it's important to really understand what they are. What do we use it for? Conditional clauses sounds like a very complicated grammatical thing, but it really isn't. Oh, it's flipped again. I'm sorry, you guys. Is that better? I think that should be better. But, all right. Conditional clauses. What are conditional clauses, you guys? What do we use them for? What are the point of conditional clauses? Are they very difficult? So, remember, guys, conditional clauses. What are they? Right? Let's begin with conditional clauses. What are conditional clauses, you guys? What can you tell me from them? Conditional clauses. What can you guys tell me? Okay, I see some people are starting to write. Thiomsi says hypotheses. Kalipan says conditional clauses are also called conditional sentences. They always have two parts, a main clause and an if clause. Luan says we use them to express condition. Okay, so I see some of you guys have an idea, but I think there is a better, or not better, but there is an easier way to explain conditional clauses, all right? They are a sentence that express a condition, then a result, okay? It's that simple. A condition, then a result. That's it, okay? That means that first something happens, then we have a result, okay? Do we have any questions here, you guys? Do you understand my idea of conditional clauses? I'm going to give us a few seconds, okay? Because there is a little bit of a lag because of YouTube. But tell me, you guys, do you understand that idea of conditional clauses? If they are first a condition, then a result? We need an example, of course. I think that the easiest example that I can give is this one. This is the explanation of the structure of most conditional clauses. If A, then B. If A, B, or if A, then B. A is a condition and B is a result. So, guys, can anybody give an example of a conditional clause? It doesn't have to be very difficult, very advanced. Tell me, you guys, give me an example of a conditional clause. Remember, first we have one thing, then we have the other. A, B. If A, then B. The most obvious thing that you can see in a conditional clause, of course, is the if, right? Oh, let me just move this a little bit. The if. These conditional clauses start with an if. That's like the easiest way to identify them. If A, then B, right? So you guys, tell me an example of a conditional clause. Kalipan says, if you're coming to party, let me update. Interesting. Bilal says, I guess we use conjunctions. Not really. Marcelo says, for example, if I study a lot, I pass the exam. Mina says, if I study well, I can pass the exam easily. Good. Those are great examples. We're going to explain how to use them correctly. Okay, we're going to explain what is the grammar behind them, what are the different conditional clauses. We're going to explain all of that. But those are good examples. That is a conditional clause. If I study for the exam, A. If I study for the exam, then this will happen. Okay? That's like the basic idea. Something happens, then something is a result. Okay? First this, then this. If A, B, or if A, then B. They mean the same thing, by the way, you guys. That's why I wrote both of them. They're two different styles, but they mean the same thing. They're the same. They're the same idea. If A, comma B, or if A, comma then B, they're the same thing. Okay. If I study for the exam, I will pass the exam. If I study for the exam, then I will pass the exam. Okay, those are examples of conditional clauses. Now you must be wondering, okay, well, that's actually very easy. Why then are sometimes conditional clauses very confusing and very difficult? I see Ibtihal says, if I sleep early, I will wake up early. Correct. Alan Diaz says, had I passed my English exam, I wouldn't have studied a lot for the next one. Right, more or less. There's some little details that we should adjust there, but the idea is correct. Okay. So Stacy, I noticed that you didn't understand. Do you understand now with the examples that we gave? That's the basic idea of conditional clauses. If I spoke you English, I would be fluent now. Right, that's sort of the idea. Farid says, if you come early, you will get the car. Right, very good, Farid. So, excellent. Tell me, you guys, are you understanding everything clearly? Like I said, I'm sorry that there's a little bit of a delay, but I have to wait a little bit, a few seconds to give you the opportunity to really answer because of the internet and everything. So I'm going to wait a few minutes. I ask again, does everybody understand? Is there any questions? Is there anything here that's not so clear until now? Tell me, you guys. Alan says, any chance we can review mixed conditionals at a later time? Well, actually, Alan, we're going to review a little bit more of conditionals right now. And if you have any further questions, of course, we're going to answer. Okay? So Stacy says, if you study English hard, you will be fluent. Very good, Stacy. I think now you understand. So remember, if you have any questions, please write them down in the comments, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. Biff says, I'll be late for school if I don't get on that train. Good. Very, very good. The order is a little bit different, but very good, Biff. Devo says, if I study hard, I will pass my exam. Excellent. Bilal, gotcha. Great. All right. Now, the biggest and most difficult thing about conditional clauses is that they are divided into 4 groups. Does anybody know what the groups of the conditional clauses are? Because they're actually not that difficult. They're actually quite simple. So, what are the 4 groups of conditional clauses? I'm going to show you right now. But tell me, you guys, what are the 4 groups of conditional clauses? Good. I see some people are starting to answer. Like I said, you guys, I'm sorry that it seems that I'm waiting a lot, but I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to answer because of the internet, the connection, the lag, etc. I don't know, again, why the YouTube thing is not as fast as before, but probably because of the new year, there were some changes. So, yeah. So, Alan says 0, first, second, third, and mixed. Bilal says first, second, third, and 0. Very good. I saw someone says, Luan said 0 conditional. Doeu said 0 conditional. Chumsy says 0 to 3 types. Very good. Very, 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 very good. Okay? That's exactly right. The ones that we're going to focus on mainly are the 4 types that you were talking about in the beginning. All right? 0, first, second, and third. If we have any questions about mixed conditionals, of course we can answer them, but we're going to start with the basics. Of course, we're going to start from the beginning, 0, first, second, and third. Now, I say this first because this is the most important thing that you need to consider. The most important thing you need to consider is the order of these conditionals. Why? Why do you think it's important to think about this order? What do you think? What do you think? Why is it important to consider this order in conditionals? Very good. I see some people, because it depends on tenses. Right. That's sort of the idea below. Very good. Ibtihal says simple future. Kalipan asks, Sir, can I get top grades if I use clauses in exams? Well, Kalipan, we have a series specially dedicated to studying and preparing for the IELTS exam, so I recommend that you watch it. It's not absolutely necessary to use clauses in exams, although using them correctly is, of course, a very good and important thing. You don't have to use conditional clauses or any type of clauses necessarily in every exam, but if you show you understand the grammar and the use, it's always a great thing. So, Dibu says to avoid getting mixed up. Muhammad says for reality. Right. Okay. It's sort of right. But the main thing that I want to tell you guys is I wrote this in this order because I wanted to remind you guys that conditional types are organized depending on how likely they are, on the probability, let's say. Okay? Of course, this is a general thing. It's not a grammatical rule. But let's say that the 0 conditional starts at 100% possibility. Okay? It's something that will definitely happen. Okay? It means that it's a fact. You can't really change this. This happens no matter what. So it goes down, 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 all the way to, let's say, 0%. So something that isn't real, something that is actually in our imagination. Okay? I want you guys to always think of conditional types as that. 0, first, second, third. The more probable, less, less, and it goes down all the way to 0. From 0 possibility, that is. From 0 conditionals, which is a fact, that means it's 100% true, to third conditional, which is a hypothetical, imaginary idea that is not true, that is just in our mind. Okay? I just mentioned this because a lot of people get confused on when to use 0, first, second, or third condition. And I also want to mention that you can sort of separate the conditional types in 0 first and second and third, right? These first two are a little bit similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're very similar. These two, second and third, are also similar. They're not exactly the same, of course, as we were saying, but they are quite similar. Okay? That is why we have mixed conditional clauses, because these two are quite similar, so we can sort of use half and half. That is what a mixed conditional clause is. Now, I'm going to take a moment for you guys to ask me some questions. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes just so that you have the opportunity to write the question, to think about it, and tell me, do you guys understand? Do you have any specific question? Is anything not clear yet or something like that? You guys tell me. Waiting a little bit. Okay, see some people writing. Okay, Anna Pastru says, from the most obvious to the impossible facts. Right, very good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Little World says, I know all the tenses, but still face some problems. Okay. Bilal says it depends on probability, on chances. Right. But does anybody else have any other questions? I just want to make sure that it's clear in general. If everybody understands until now, tell me or give me a thumbs up or say I understand, just to make sure that you guys are understanding. Okay? So, everyone understands, everyone good, everyone clear. Give me a thumbs up or say yes, and we can continue. Okay. Perfect. Excellent, you guys. All right. So Kalipan says, a little confusion. Remember, Kalipan, you can ask me questions. If you have any questions, tell me. So that's the main thing. Zero and first conditional are quite similar. They're very likely, or they're more likely. Second and third conditional are less likely. They're ideas, they're in our imagination. There's something that maybe will happen, but we don't know. All right? Zero and first, very likely. Second and third, not likely. All right? Now, of course, we're going to explain. Don't worry. We're going to show you the formulas in a moment, but I just want to make sure that this part is clear. All right? Excellent, Mohammed. Excellent, Alan. Excellent, Luan. Excellent, Bilal. Excellent, everybody. Okay? Very good. So, like I said, Kalipan, anybody that is not getting it, remember, you guys can tell me and we can try to answer any questions you have. Okay? But let's start with the zero conditional. All right? The facts, as I say here, facts. Something that is undeniable, something that will happen, something that is scientifically guaranteed, or something that is just super likely. Okay? That is the zero conditional. I'm licking my fingers a lot because I have a lot of papers I want to show you. Apologies if it looks a little weird, but I just want to make sure I can show you guys everything. All right? So that's why we have our zero conditional there. Zero conditional, facts, as I was saying, part of the very likely group. All right, so how do we use the zero conditional? The zero conditional is super easy. We use the present simple for the condition, and then the present simple for the results. Okay, it's the easiest thing you can do. And remember, we use if A and B, all right? Condition and result. And remember that a condition and a result is just a little sentence, all right? For example, in the beginning, you already mentioned some sentences that were conditional clauses, all right? So, let's explain, or let's give some examples of zero conditionals. What examples can you guys give about the zero conditional? Remember, present simple and present simple. Condition, result. That means that we have to say a condition in the present simple and then a result in the present simple. If you heat up water, it boils. Very good, Fel. Very good. Luan says water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, this is an interesting little difference. Now, Luan and Fel, both of your sentences are correct, but Fel used the conditional, specifically the zero conditional. They used it correctly. Now, Luan, your sentence is of course correct. You're explaining a fact, but you're not explaining it with a condition and a result. Remember, in conditionals we have two parts. First the condition, then the result. Okay? If A, comma, B, or if A, comma, then B. So, Luan, in your example, you would say, if water is at 100 degrees, that's the condition. If water is at 100 degrees because it has to be present simple, simple tense, simple present. Then it boils, okay? Or just it boils. That would be the result also in the present simple. Do you understand the difference? Like I was saying, your sentence is correct, but you just have to remember to use the conditional structure. Because what you said is a grammatically correct idea, it's just not a conditional clause, all right? I just want to make sure that you understand that. Is everybody clear on what I'm saying about the example with water? So, Kalipan says, if people eat too much, they get fat. Exactly. It's a fact. It happens. It's in the simple present, in the condition and the result. Perfect. Right. Okay. Very, very good. I'm just seeing the comments. If there are any questions, Kalipan says, if babies are hungry, they cry. Right. If you eat ice, it melts. There you go. There you go. You guys understood. So great, Luan. I'm great you got it. Any other examples, questions? So if he studies English, he gets good results. That's the one below. That's the one. That's correct. Very, 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 very good. Very, 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 very good. Ibtihal says, if I hurry up, I will catch the bus. What do you guys think? Bilal says, if I hurry up, I will catch the bus. But what does this say? What do you guys think? If I am rich, I will buy 3 cats. Okay. I wouldn't buy 3 cats if I was rich, but here's the thing. You're using conditional clauses, but you're not using the zero conditional. What do you guys think? Tiomzi says that's the first conditional. Excellent, Tiomzi. Thank you so much. Very good. Now you guys understood the zero conditional. I think it's time to move on to the first conditional. Okay? The first conditional is a possibility. Okay? Let me show you. So the first conditional is the present simple, but then we have the will, won't, plus the verb, of course. So we use first present simple, then usually the simple future. Okay? And that's what you're saying. Now, why is it different? Because it's not a fact. It's something that can happen. It's a possibility. Maybe it's very likely. Maybe it's part of your plans, right? But it's not a fact. For example, if I win the lottery, or if you win the lottery, you will do one thing. But if I win the lottery, I will probably do something different. And if my friend wins the lottery, they will probably do something very different. You know, your mom, your father, your brother, your sister, they're all going to do what they want. So winning the lottery doesn't give an exact result. Winning the lottery gives a lot of different possible results. Do you guys understand? So, very good. Very, very good, Phil. That's the first conditional. Excellent. Okay. Very good. So, yes, you guys, that's the first conditional. And what I was saying a little while ago is that I don't want you guys to think that your sentences are wrong, okay? Your sentences can be correct. They just are a little bit different. And in this case, if I say, if I am rich, I will buy 3 cars, that is the first conditional. And the first conditional formula is very simple also. Present simple, will, won't, and then our verb. Okay? If I win the lottery, I will buy a house. If I study for my exam, I will pass. We're saying something that we think is very likely or we think is a direct result. And that's why, of course, these are very similar, but they're not exactly the same. And that is also why the first conditional I want to mention is the most common in my opinion. I think it's the one that we use the most, the one that is most used in general, real social conversation, because that's the way we normally speak. Okay? The first conditional is the most common conditional. Now I want you guys to help me. Let's give some examples for the first conditional. I'm going to read you guys. All right? Okay. Little World says, if you buy this house, you will get good appreciation. Very good. Bilal says, if she goes to the market, she will buy dresses. Very good, Bilal. Okay. Little World again says, if you take my advice, you will pass the exam. Okay. Fel Camp says, I'll stay at home if it rains. Good. Now, Fel, you're using a little bit of a mixed structure, or let's say a flipped structure, that is not wrong. But remember, in the most basic, or let's say the general formula for the conditionals, we usually put the condition first. If A, then B. So you would usually say, if it rains, I'll stay home, right? What you're saying is not wrong, it's just less common. Now, Mina Pahandi says, if I get a promotion, I'll give a party for my friends. Muhammad says, if I have $1 million, I'll buy a new house. Very good. Kalipan says, if I have time, I will travel to Europe. Or if you study hard, you will pass the test. Very good. All right. I'm really happy that you guys are understanding. Super, 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 super good. Really happy. Debo says, if I have money, we'll buy a house. Okay. Debo, you're missing a little something. If I have money, I will buy a house. Remember, we need to put the comma and we need a separate clause. That's why we call them clauses. First, the condition, I have money. Then the result, I will buy a house. All right? They're like two sentences put together. Okay? I have money. I will buy a house. And we connect them with the if and then the comma. All right? Very good, you guys. If I drive fast, I will arrive soon, I think Farid meant to say. Very good. Very, very, very good. All right. So, any questions here? Anything that is not clear? Remember, you guys, comment any questions you have. Comment anything that is confusing. Or if everybody understood, give a thumbs up in the comments. Say, yes, I understood, so we can go on to the next part. I think you guys are doing great. Okay. When do we use won't? Well, Bilal, it's actually very simple. It's just when something won't happen. It's like the negative of a sentence. For example, if I am poor, I won't buy a house. You understand? It's the same grammar. It's the same structure. We're just saying the result is a negative. Okay? But it's the same exact thing. Will, won't. Okay? Same exact thing. For example, we can also say, if I am busy, I won't go to the party. If I am free, I will go to the party. Same structure, right? Same grammar, but we just use will and won't depending on if we want to say a positive sentence or a negative sentence. If I am short, I won't reach the ceiling, says BM. Excellent. So I see a few thumbs up. Great. Tanya says, if I play honestly, then I will win the match. Perfect. So excellent, you guys. Nice thumbs up. Very, very, very good. So we're going to go to the second one. The second conditional. All right. I just want you guys to see. Oh, I think you guys can see there. All right. So the second conditional. Hypothetical situation. Remember, we sort of separate these two that are kind of similar, that are very likely, and then we separate the other two that are not so likely. Okay? Bilal asks, we use am in the present simple. Right. Remember, the first two conditionals, 0 and the first, we have this grammatical rule that the condition is in the present simple, and then the result is either in the present simple or will and won't. The verb to be is a verb, of course. So, because we have the verb to be, we use it in the present simple if it's a condition, or in the simple future if it's a result in the first conditional. So, second conditional, hypothetical situations, right? What do you guys think that could be? What is a hypothetical situation? Right? Of course, we're going to explain it in a moment, but give me examples of a hypothetical situation, something that we think maybe would happen. What do you guys think? If you went to Rome, oh, if I went to Rome, I would go to Greece, says Phil Camp. Very good. From Hindi Medium says, if I studied hard, I would get good marks. Very good. If I had more time, I would complete it. Mina. Very good. Ibtihal says, when we use when in condition. I'm not sure about your question, Ibtihal. Could you rephrase that and we'll try to answer? Says, BM, if I was a ghost, I would steal you. Okay, I guess, sure. Kalipan says, what would the word be like if the land was all connected? Okay, I think you're trying to explain question conditionals. Okay, that is a little bit different, but Kalipan, you said it great. What would the world be like if the land was all connected? So, like many questions, we sort of flip the order and we sometimes put the object in the beginning sometimes. Okay? But you said it very well. So, little world, if he passed the exam, he would get a gift from his father. Very good. From Hindi Medium says, if I went to Delhi, I would visit a new restaurant. Very good. Mina says, if I studied it, I would get a promotion. All right, very good. Sorry, you guys, I just have to lean in to see the comments, but now I think you can see me. So, great. Mr. Bilal says, if I went to Dubai, I would go to Burj Khalifa. Very good. Very, very good. So, guys, actually, I think the second conditional, no problem. You guys are saying it super well. Does anybody have any questions about the second conditional? Remember, hypothetical situation. All right. Now, if we don't have any questions, I would, of course, just like to mention that we use the past simple and then the would plus the verb. If I spoke German fluently, simple, I would work in German. Very good, Tumsy. Thank you for that excellent example. Farid says, if I was in the class, I would note the lesson. Very good. From Hindi Medium says, if I went to Dubai, I would meet my auntie. Very good. So we're talking about situations that require a past condition for a present or future result. Okay? If I had a chance to immigrate, I would go to Canada, says Mohammed Jamal Azizi. Very, very, very good. Little World says, if France won the World Cup, there would be a big celebration in the country. Very good. Very, very, very good. So, guys, I think the second conditional is actually very clear. So, awesome. Great. Remember, guys, give a thumbs up if you understood, or if you didn't understand, please write your question, and I'm going to try to answer as best I can. So, Ojo says, if I wake up early, I will not late to work. Okay, remember that's sort of the first conditional, because will won't, like something in the future, you usually categorize it as this because it's a very likely result. Okay, excellent, Kalipan, excellent. From Hindi Medium, can we use could instead? Okay, good question, Laura. We can. It's not the most standard formula, because when we use could, we're talking about our personal ability. Okay? That is why we use could. For example, Hyomzi said, if I spoke German fluently, I could work in Germany. In his original example, Hyomzi said, if I spoke German fluently, I would work in Germany. So that's talking about a general condition, something that happens, a hypothetical situation. If we change the word for could, the word could is talking about our personal ability to do something. I can, I can't, or I could, right? That is when we would use could in that situation. That's a very good question, Luan. Is it clear now? Okay. If we eat well, we get healthy, eat the hell. Well, that's sort of the zero conditional, a little bit different. Okay, so I think everybody understood. I'm going to give you a few seconds to ask any other questions. Excellent, Luan. Thanks so much. All right, and we're going to go with the last but not least, the third conditional. Bilal asked, what about should? It's really the same situation. Okay, just to explain, we would use a modal verb to change the conditional with the modal verb meaning, right? So if we have a conditional that can accept a modal verb, like the second conditional, we can use a modal verb, and the modal verb will have the original meaning of the modal verb. For example, if I spoke German, I should practice, right? So we're having a simple past hypothetical situation, and then you're saying it's something that you should do. It's something that would be good if you did. So the should remains the same, the sentence remains the same, the idea remains the same when we're using modal verbs. We're just adapting it to a conditional, okay? So last but not least, the third conditional. When do we use the third conditional? I don't know if you guys saw it, but what do you think? When do we use the third conditional? When is the third conditional necessary? Can anybody give me an example? And if not, we'll just show it. Okay? Okay. Never. Something like that. What do you guys think? Help me out with the third conditional. What do you guys think? Pretending, says Feldkamp. Sajad says when something is impossible. Kaliban says if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. For past situations, says BM, but Bilal says for future talks. So, what do you guys think? The third conditional, I think, is the most difficult grammatically, and also the one that's a little bit confusing. Okay? So, the third conditional is basically used to express an impossible, an unreal, or an unlikely thing, right? Something that is generally just in our imagination, something that can't or didn't happen anymore, right? Maybe a missed opportunity, maybe something that can't happen anymore, or something that we would like to happen, but it just won't, all right? So the third conditional is kind of sad. It is used to express things that are usually in our imagination, things that maybe could have happened but didn't happen, missed opportunities, hypothetical situations in our imagination, or hypothetical alternatives to, time, or alternatives to what actually happened. Okay? Verminion meaning of hypothetical condition which will never happen. Excellent, excellent. All of you guys are great. Okay? So the third conditional is something that's in our imagination, something that very likely can't happen anymore. And it's also kind of difficult grammatically because we use the past perfect, right? And then the result is would have plus the past participle, right? So, what is the past perfect? Do you guys remember that we already taught a class about past perfect? If you guys remember, you can, of course, give us an example. Feldkamp says, is the third conditional actually subjunctive? What do you mean, Feldkamp? what do you mean by the third conditional being subjunctive? I just want to make sure I'm going to answer your question correctly. So from Hindi Medium says, if I had attended the exam, I would have been selected. Very good. Tiomzi said, if the Netherlands had won the World Cup 2022, many more people would have decorated their home in orange color. Little World says, if I had on the moon. Oh, I think you mean if I had been on the moon, I would have brought lots of good stuff from there, right? Okay, or gold, he says. Lots of gold from there. Very good. So, yes, you guys. Those are imaginary situations. For example, Tiomzi was talking about Netherlands winning the World Cup, but Netherlands didn't win the World Cup. Who won? Do you guys remember who won the World Cup 2022? Bilal says, if I had written exam rather than a computer exam, I would have scored more. Okay? Would have, past participle, would have scored more. Little World says Argentina. Kalipan says Argentina. Exactly. So obviously Argentina won the World Cup, not the Netherlands. So Tiomzi's example is excellent because Netherlands didn't. So it's in our imagination. Of course, if the Netherlands had won the World Cup, then many people would have decorated their house orange, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't happen. It's something that's in our imagination, something that can't happen anymore. So we use the third conditional. All right. Bilal says, I can't see the structure. I'm sorry, Bilal. Can you see it now? Or do you want me to move it up a little bit? Hang on. Let me move them both up a little bit. Thank you for telling me that, Bilal. Better? Yeah, I think that's better, right? So, Ibdal says, if I am rich, I will marry. No, actually, Ibdal, remember, you're kind of using the first and zero conditionals. Remember, this is one group that is very likely, that is, an option, a possibility, and this is sort of like another group that is not so real, it's hypothetical, it's in our idea, right? That's it. Thanks a lot. You're welcome, Bilal. It's really our pleasure to help. Kalipan, sir, can I take a screenshot? Well, if you want, Kalipan, but actually remember, you can watch this class over and over and over again and share it with your friends. You can share it to your social media. Remember, you guys, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to share every video, every clip that you see or that you like, wherever you can. Share it with your friends. Always comment, because that way we receive good feedback and we know that you guys are happy and we're actually helping you. All right? So, very good, you guys. No problem. Share it with your friends. Hit that like and subscribe button. And, of course, subscribe to all of our other social media, especially Instagram. And you're going to see a lot of other clips like this. From Hindi Medium says, if I had met you, I could have been a good student. Good. We would, like we were saying before, we can use modal verbs, but the base structure is the would have. So could have, should have, it's easy to put here, it's easy to mix it here. Modal verbs would go here instead of the would. Okay, so very good. For example, Little World says, if I had been president of my country, I would have strict rules against corruption. Very good. I would too. I totally agree with that. Corruption is very bad. All right, you guys. Well, that's sort of the end of the class. I think you guys learned a lot today. I think you guys understood structures really well. And in the meantime, we're going to do a short little activity about organizing some sentences into the conditional clause types. And while we do that, I'm going to remind you guys that there is a promo code, as always, with all of our Cambly Live classes. On Sundays and Saturdays and Wednesdays, I think. We really want to make sure that you guys join Cambly and you guys can take classes with me. All right, you can take classes with teacher Molly, teacher Lily. Like, there are a lot of teachers. There are literally thousands of teachers, and we would love to have you. Remember, join subscribe to Cambly, not only our Cambly social media, and you can actually have a personalized class just for you where you can interact with an actual native tutor and to answer all of your questions. So in a moment, we're going to give that promo code. But in the meantime, I want you guys to help me by organizing a few sentences, and you guys are going to tell me what type of conditional clause they are. All right. In the meantime, of course, you can ask any questions that you have. You can say hi, you can say goodbye, you can do whatever you like, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands everything. Okay? Okay. No questions. Nope, no questions yet. Okay? Debo. Okay, I think some people are. And some people are still viewing the other stuff. Okay? So, thank you, you guys. Lots of love from India. So, tell me, you guys, in the meantime. This one. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. What conditional clause is this? If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. Okay. Feldkamp says, if I had not been quitting my gym, I would have better shape by now. Second. There is one person that says third, but actually, it is the second. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. Second conditional, we can see it by the would. That's our main clue right there. One, simple past. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. All right? So second conditional. Very good, you guys. Let's see another one. If you go to school, you learn. What conditional type? What conditional type is that? If you go to school, you learn. See some people answering. 0, 0, 0, 0. Very good. We're using the present simple in both our condition and our result, so we're using this as a fact. Now, maybe you agree with this fact, but maybe you don't. So, we can also say something like, if you go to school, you will learn. And you see, they're kind of the same idea. They're a very similar idea, but one is in the 0 and one is in the first. One is a fact, or we're trying to say something like a fact, and the other is sort of a possibility, something that we think will happen, but is not a definite fact. Okay? Excellent. You guys got it. Thank you, Mina. Thank you, Bilal. Thank you, Luan. You all got it. So those are the differences, and that is why we would use or the 0 or the first, but I wanted to show you that they're quite similar. All right? Let's do another 3. I want this one and this one. Okay? If you had gone to the party, you would have had fun. What is this? If you had gone to the party, you would have had fun. Mina, Little World, Bilal, BM, Feld. Very good. Very good. If you had gone to the party, you would have had fun. Past participle. Very good. Well, past perfect, sorry. Past perfect and past participle, which is past perfect. Very good. You guys, I think you understand now conditionals. Very good, you guys. So, next one. Second to last one. If I bought a car, I would never use it. What is that one? Because it's a negative, so does that matter? Danielle says, which day? Okay, I think, Danielle, you're asking which days do I do live streams. We do live streams on Sundays, sometimes on Saturdays, and we take turns, so you will see me hopefully very soon in a few weeks, maybe just a couple, but we usually do lives on Sundays and Saturdays. Okay, second or two. Very good, you guys. Very, very, very good. I would never use it. Excellent. Now, last one. Last one, which I think is an easy one. I think nobody's going to have a problem with it. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. What is this one? Okay, I see some people writing. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. A lot of zeros. Little World, Mina, Khalifa, Fel, Chow, Juan, Bilal. Excellent. Excellent, you guys. So, 0 conditional. Exactly. This one is a 0 conditional. This is a fact. It's not really something you can avoid. It's undeniable. It's a scientific fact. Okay? So, you guys, again, this was another YouTube Live, and the promo code is GOLIVE. All right. With this promo code GOLIVE, you will be able to receive up to a 32% discount on any new Cambly plans. And remember, if you subscribe to Cambly now using this promo code, you're going to be able to get a really nice discount to talk to people exactly like me and other tutors that you've already seen on other lives. Right? You're going to have a personalized class with just me, with nobody else. And you're going to be able to ask me directly any questions that you have. All right? So, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your patience, you guys. I'm sorry that YouTube was kind of crazy today, but we fixed it. So thank you, everybody. See you next week for our next Cambly Live. Remember, we do these on Sunday. We do them all Sundays. We've done them for a while now, and we're so happy to have your support. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, comment that you like the video. We really, really appreciate it. So, thank you, Mina. Of course, thank you, Bilal. Thank you, as always, Khalifa, my dear student. Thank you, Bilal. Thank you, Chumzi, for your great, great input. Thank you, Fel Camp. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Baron. Course, thank you, Luan. Thank you from Hindi Medium. Thank you, all of you guys. Have a great Sunday. Have a great week, and see you next time. Guys, we're really happy that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. See you. Thank you so much, Mina. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye, you guys. Have a great week, and see you next time.